I want this chance to show you that your garden karate is so much nonsense. And that's quite easy to do. I know Kung Fu.
Show me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. I am your host, Taz, and brought with me this evening, I have brought with us the Dirk Diggler of Muay Thai. Not just the H8L, but Muay Thai in general. The Bastach himself, the destroyer of ovaries, the man, the myth, the legend. I bring to you one lady slaying Lobo.
I was born ready.
Finally, I'm so proud of you. And also with us this evening, a man that truly needs no introduction, the Rain Man of martial arts, the connoisseur of all things combative, the CSW standout. Let me stop.
Don't do it.
A one Justice Magnificent. And we are discussing, actually I shouldn't say we're discussing, this is episode 21, happily titled Sweet Chin Music, the underappreciated punishment of pro wrestling. We're going to dig deep into the rabbit hole of professional wrestling, not only just its entertainment value, but the combat applications itself, a little bit of its history, a little bit of its origins, a little bit of its usefulness, because despite what some of you may think, pro wrestlers will fuck you up, and some of the moves will fuck you up as well. Gentlemen, talking pro wrestling. How many of you are familiar with the term shooting? I don't mean, click, click, bang, bang shooting. Or as the kids would say now, pew, pew. I mean actual wrestling shooting. The unplanned or unscripted real-life shit that happens during a wrestling match. It just seems like we're all pretty well-versed in the concept or the art of shooting. So let me ask you guys this. You guys are, for the most part, I believe, either past or present pro wrestling fans. Any particular shoots that come to mind that just automatically stick out to you? That have left a lasting impression that you can remember?
Screwjob Montreal.
that is hard to top that one. What about yourself, Lobo?
Besides that, Screwball Montreal, nothing really comes to mind.
There is a shoot that, when I say it, wrestling fans will know exactly what I'm referring to. And I'm just going to say two words, New Jack. Now, for those of you tuning into the show, if you're not familiar with a pro wrestler by the name of New Jack, I suggest you look up his body of work. It's a thing to behold. Not the most athletic wrestler, not the most pristine or clean wrestler with the most defined wrestling moves that you'll ever see. But what he brings to the ring is a true to life, if I break character, I'll probably kill you mentality. And that brings me to a shoot that stands out in my mind of where New Jack legitimately stabbed a motherfucker in the ring and almost killed him. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to dig too deep into it, but if you ever get bored, go out on YouTube and just put in New Jack stabs wrestler and just sit back and enjoy the carnage. Just sit back.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just sit back and enjoy the screams of this poor man as he is being stabbed endlessly in the fucking ring by New Jack, and no one comes to his aid. The reason why I bring that up, and the reason why I bring up shooting, is because I believe, and I feel, the art of shooting in itself, I don't want to say it's a lost cause, but it's becoming fewer and fewer between. But when it does happen, 9 times out of 10, the shoots are very, very memorable. And shooting, it reminded me of how dangerous pro wrestling is, not only for those doing it, but it's dangerous for individuals that fuck with someone that knows how to do it, and it's dangerous if you try to reenact some of the particular moves, which brings me to the combat side of pro wrestling. Justice, sir, because I know you remember, and you're the connoisseur of all things comedy, would you mind giving us just a brief history of carnival-style pro wrestling and how that evolved from tough man carny fights to the sports entertainment that we see today? Like I put you on the spot there?
Yeah, that's a great topic.
Right?
It started out, yeah, you got me. It started with just strongman, just as a sideshow. They would have these shows saying, "Hey, I'm stronger than this guy," and it turned into challenges. Eventually, you had some boxers even stepping in, and it happened in different areas of the world. So the crazy part is there's no one area where you can pinpoint catch wrestling, shoot wrestling style. Because early 1800s, you had people that never seen each other, that never interacted, that were champions and had the same, similar holds, similar, techniques that they were using, and they were champions, and they were holding their own events. So wrestling evolved from just, like I said, carnivals, challenges, to you had where wrestlers were learning how to box, and they were getting their heads knocked off, so they started learning how to strike a little bit. So there's a really hidden history of combat there that people really don't really talk about when it comes to professional wrestling because of the glamorization of sports entertainment, WCW, WWE, and whatever else you can think of that's been happening over the last 2-3 decades. I mean, you can go back further when you talk about the Greeks and pancration,
Right.
but that's that's too far. But like you had the carnival shows with, like I said, you have those strong men, and then you have those bare knuckle boxers stepping in like, you're not as tough as you think you are.
That also
Yeah,
gave
Even
birth,
down
to that do some moves.
that also gave birth to the territories.
right, you got different territories. Now here's the thing for a lot of BJJ people. You're not gonna like it, but hey, catch wrestling, luta livre was there in Brazil before BJJ.
Wait, why are you trying to start a fight with people?
I'm
Really
just
wanted
telling
to
you the
start a
truth.
fight with people.
He's definitely trying to
Look
start a
up the
fight with people.
rivalry. Look up the original rivalries between the Gracies and Lucha Libre.
Yeah. Now okay, and we can go back even further because I had to do some research. There's the guy that started catch luta livre. I can't think of his name. I have to go back. Larry Sabisco. I'm sure old school like wrestling fans remember that name.
Oh yeah.
Where the name Sabisco comes from a strongman, like a German strongman. That they were using that name. Now, so rumor was that German strongman took a trip to Brazil, and he went under the name of Black Mask and had a match with the creator of what we now know as Luta Livre, and he beat him. And they try to say, well, he was 300 pounds, blah blah blah, whatever. And that what kind of led the creator of Luta Livre to kind of push more for holds and more grappling, and even add some striking into it, because those matches that they were having then, they were hitting each other, not necessarily ground and pound, but according to descriptions, there were some hits being thrown.
And you said that was for the BJJ guys?
Yeah, that's for the BJJ guys. Just let y'all know, it's not
Just
even just y'all today.
There can be some BJJ cat staring at his black belt. Those sons of bitches have gone too far. I've tolerated 20 episodes of this bullshit. Now they're putting pro wrestling in there? Oh, I don't think so. So I'm glad you brought up, the fact that it was from all over the world, and you really can't pinpoint exactly what came from what and what came from who, because I think that oftentimes gets lost when you start talking about, different martial arts from around the world. Or honestly, it gets lost in grappling all the time. Like, people act like when it comes to catch wrestling or BJJ, that there's not only similarities to the arts, similarities to the holds, but I feel like in terms of the history of where these holds and where these locks come from, the water is so muddy or so murky that people just tend to say, oh, this is a BJJ hold, or this is a catch wrestling hold, or this is a submission grappling hold, when, in all honesty, a fucking headlock's a headlock. Whether you put it arm in and arm out, a headlock is still a fucking headlock. So with that being said, let me ask you guys this. What are your thoughts on hooking, a.k.a. catch wrestling?
Hooking, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly. I hit you with terms.
Yeah, the guy that really could wrestle, they will call in and be like, yeah, you keep showing up, keep shooting. Yeah, we're going to get somebody in here who really know how to do that thing. And yeah.
Get one of these carnival motherfuckers that truly know 1,000 holds.
The Dean Malenkos, the Luthez.
So I'm glad you brought up Malenko. What are your thoughts on Malenko?
And Malenko is one of the best. You know, for professional wrestling, he was undersized, but he was one of the best technically wise, and he really knew his stuff.
Oh yeah, that dude was full on just student of the fucking game. I don't give a shit in terms of character wise if that dude was about as entertaining as watching snow melt. I don't care. When you put that man in the ring, the holds that he would put you in were things of beauty. When Dean Malenko put you in the fucking crossface, he really put you in the crossface. When that dude would put you in the Boston Crab, you look like you were truly, truly, truly begging for fucking death. And I think that's one of the differences between cats that know moves, cats that study moves, and then cats that are proficient in moves. And I think of guys like Luthez, Dean Malenko. These guys were students of the games. They put you in a fucking hold, whether it was for show or hook or by crook. It wasn't a matter if you were going to sell that move or not. You're going to sell that. Because that dude's going to put you in a fucking crippler crossface, and you're going to be tapping for your fucking life. And he's going to put you in it the way that the hold is intended to. Not the sports entertainment way, but the shit where it actually cranks your fucking neck and chin back and hyperextends your arm and your collarbone and shit. So you're really tapping and screaming for bloody murder. And that's what I think of when I think of legit catch wrestling. And I say legit catch wrestling because, like all things in life, you have your legit shit, and then you have your shit that's legitimately just a piece of shit. It goes the same way. You have real deal judo versus bullshit. You have real deal BJJ versus your fucking McDojo shit. Same thing when it comes to catch wrestling. You have cats that genuinely, truly study the game and really know catch wrestling.
I mean, I got an indirect catch background, I mean, if you want to say that. So, catch wrestling for me is one of those intriguing arts that, again, hopefully you don't get some watered down BS. You know, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not going to say who or from where, but it's whatever. Lobo, what about yourself? What are your thoughts on catch wrestling, sir?
For the little I have experience with it, and that's mostly just watching videos and seeing matches, it's definitely one of the grappling arts I would actually want to learn.
That shit looks brutal. That to me,
it really does. That's what I like about it.
Like having tried my hand at judo, having tried my hand at a little bit of BJJ, submission wrestling, catch to me, in terms of grappling, or I should say grappling with strikes and submissions, I'm all about some catch. It's not flashy. It's not pretty. I think that's about as close as you'll get to the old school carnival style of wrestling. Nothing flashy. Yeah. You're not going to see fucking run, jump, flying 360 arm bars. Nope, they're just gonna snap your head down to the fucking ground, crank your fucking neck until you tap or until you die.
I think that's what I like about it the most, is it's not flashy.
I agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong, I like BJJ. I respect BJJ. I think BJJ is a very good art, but I think to be really proficient, and this is, again, just my opinion, to be really proficient in a lot of the move sets, you got to have a certain level of flexibility. You got to have a certain level of dexterity in your fucking joints and in your legs to be able to pull off some of these different guards or these different, submissions. But when I look at something like catch, no, I'm seeing old dudes that can't even touch their fucking toes, putting you in holds that look like you just want to die the moment you get put in there. And again, not taking anything away from, a lot of the other grappling arts. I just feel that just from what little bit I know of catch, you don't gotta be the most flexible guy or have the most dexterity in the joints to do catch wrestling.
But you're gonna check to see if somebody else has that dexterity.
You sure are. They hit you with that banana split and rip your fucking groin from your belly button to your asshole.
Oh damn, yeah.
I find catch wrestling to be one of those grappling arts that no matter how much respect you have for it, you can't truly, truly appreciate it until you either learn a little bit of it or have some of the moves fucking put on you, so you can have a true understanding of what it's like to truly be helpless.
Yeah. Here's the other part. It's catch wrestling, not catch BJJ. I'm doing this today. It's fun. I'm doing this today. I'm being that guy today. It's not catch BJJ. It's not catch BJJ. It's catch
Who
wrestling.
specifically are you referring to?
Meaning, you have to have experience wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, in my experience with a certain art, that we did practice a lot of wrestling because that was in the curriculum. Like, you were to have a foundational wrestling background. Now, whether you liked it or not, it's a different story, or you good at it. But you have to have a wrestling background, meaning you ain't always gonna fall on your back. There's no butt scooting. There's no none of that. All right, and I'm done. I'm done.
No, I agree, man. I absolutely agree. And I think this is one of the things that people tend to forget when you're looking at pro wrestling, or you're looking at someone who's looking to train pro wrestling and so forth. There's not a lot of, just when it comes to catch, just from what I can tell, there's not a whole lot of fancy reversals. There's not a lot of weird flippity-doo spider monkey crab guard or whatever the fuck you want to call the shit. There's not a whole lot of that shit. A lot of it is get a hold of a limb and bend that shit until the person taps the fuck out. And to me, I find that to be the most applicable shit.
Yep, exactly. That's catch wrestling. That's shooting. That's hooking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't want to tap? Then I'll pick you up. I'm gonna slam you, and then I'm gonna twist it a different direction.
Yep. The end result is going to be the same. You're either going to tap the fuck out or you're going to be dragged the fuck out of here. I feel like catch wrestling is highly underappreciated. I look at catch wrestling as like the fucking Muay Thai of grappling. What you see is what you fucking get.
I agree with that.
Just my humble opinions. So with a lot of these professional wrestlers having this catch experience or being trained, even if it is the how do I want to say this? Even if it is the sports entertainment side of it, just the idea of knowing that these guys and girls are out here learning, the art of hooking and shooting and so forth. Wouldn't you say that would make them some of the most dangerous fucking individuals out there?
Most definitely.
It
Being able to
should.
do all these insane moves and then being able to take the level of punishment they do, like, that is a person I don't want to mess with.
See, you hit the fucking nail on the head right there. The ability to take the amount of fucking punishment that they do. Say what you will about pro wrestling. Some people look at it like, oh, it's fucking weak, it's soft, it's fake, it's just... When I think about the idea of lifting somebody up over my fucking head and slamming them down on their back and them just getting up and doing it over and over and over again, I don't give a shit what you say about the mat, if there's springs in it or if it's whatever. That shit is fucking brutal.
I don't think anybody has ever questioned well, at least not for me. I've never questioned the toughness of professional wrestlers. Because again, I'm not gonna let you hit me over the head with a chair intentionally. And it's crazy because you watched it, but then as you get older and you be like, man, this is, some of it is scripted, so I'm just gonna let you pile drive me and power bomb me.
But not only that, how do you train yourself to just take the fucking impact of a chair to the face? Like, say what you will about Edge and Christian's, what was that move? The concerto? Where one would have one chair, the other one have the other, and they'd slam that shit. Granted, yeah, okay, they're angling it in a way where the top of the chairs hit each other, but there's still the rest of that fucking chair. Some of that has to be making contact on your head somewhere. I want to think of...
Ric Flair, how many scars he got on his forehead?
Oh, dude, it looks like the fucking roadmap of the United States.
Yeah, but how many of those are from blading?
Hey,
okay, that's
you gotta make it work, right?
Hey,
again,
you gotta sell that shit.
I'm not finna cut my forehead. Like, no, I'm just not that person.
No, I don't have the testicular fortitude to take a razor blade and blade my own forehead to sell a match for you. Nah, that's not for me. There was one move that I always thought was just the most brutal move ever, and I don't know how these guys and girls survived this shit. But you guys remember? I know you guys remember Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam would hit you in the head with a fucking chair. The moment you stand up, he would throw you the chair so that you catch it, and this dude would jump in the air and hit a 360.
Van Daminator.
Thank you, the Van Daminator, bro. Fuck you. You couldn't put enough zeros on my check, that night at least, to have me take that shit to the fucking face. That shit was insane to me.
I was about to say that, and that was light work to one of his moves, because one of them he would jump way across the ring and
Oh,
keep
yeah.
you while the chair was posted up against your head.
Yep,
Like,
ring post to ring post.
yeah.
What, like, people tend to forget. People tend to forget. Whether it's sports entertainment, these moves can fucking kill you. Taking a steel chair, and there is no fake steel chairs, but taking a steel foldable chair and cracking somebody across the fucking dome with it for the sake of entertainment. That's a level of entertainment that I'm not trying to be a part of.
Just for this episode, I looked up the number of accidental deaths in the ring for professional wrestling. Yeah, I got really depressed really quickly.
What are some of your favorite wrestling moves that are legit and would completely work in competition that you think of?
Suplexes, neck cranks, toe holds.
Okay. Justice.
Cripple across face.
Hmm.
Boston Crab,
Scorpion.
we've seen that work.
The Scorpion Deathlock, because I don't like the sharpshooter.
Okay.
All right.
And what was the other one? What was the one Demon Linko did? He got from my old wrestler.
Wasn't it like a form of a Texas cloverleaf?
That's the name of it. That's it. The Texas Cloverleaf.
Yeah.
That's it.
That one.
Yeah,
That one's fucking brutal.
By the time you figure forward, and the figure four leg lock, of course.
Of course.
But by the time you figure for the leg or the ankle around the leg and get up on your armpit and you lift, like, man.
Fuck.
You're talking about that one. Shit.
Yeah. The Texas cloverleaf was. Man, you had to rehearse that for days before you even pulled that shit off in the ring because you would rip somebody's shit up. See, I should have.
Like, I've seen it.
I should have picked. See, I should have picked more wrestling-based moves. Man, I took the combat way out. I picked the fucking super kick.
Super kick.
The big boot.
Of course, just striker.
Yeah, man, and the spear.
Mostly because we've seen that one work in the gym.
Oh, the spear works, man. The spear works.
Oh no, I believe it works.
Damn, I should have taken more. You know what? Let me change my top three. Okay, so let me go more wrestling based moves. Obviously the Shamrock heel hook. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Fuck that one. I'm gonna go with the angle lock, the heel hook with the grapevine. Let's see here. You know what? I'm still keeping the super kick on there because I just enjoy kicking people in the face.
It also sounds cool.
It does. It actually does. And because I know it's a real move and I've actually seen it work in Kyokushin tournaments and competitions, I'm going to go with the AJ Styles Pele kick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't care what anyone tells me. I don't care how lightly you pull those kicks. If you get someone running at you at full speed and you super kick them in the fucking face.
You getting kicked, yeah.
Yeah, it's that. I'm trying to think of, are there any legit grapplers that you guys could think of off the top of your head who utilize moves that are found in pro wrestling?
I mean,
In the ring?
Yeah, ring or cage.
Mark Coleman had a headlock on Dan Severn.
He did.
But it was a choke, but it was a headlock to normal people of the world. Josh Barnett, of course, he's a catch wrestler.
Yes, any submission hold he puts on you.
That's gonna fuck you up.
But I think that's about it. 'Cause I think, to be honest, Josh Barnett might have been one of the only people outside of Sine Kakuta from Japan to win like an ADCC or any one of the major grappling tournaments without having a strong BJJ background originally. But
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was gonna say, anytime one of these motherfuckers took you down and put the hooks in you and flattened you out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a wrestling move.
Oh yeah, through and through.
Hooks in.
I'll argue that shit with anybody. That is a full-on wrestling move, adapted by other grappling arts.
Now, let me ask you a question. Eddie Bravo's the Twister, because I got to be that guy again. That is like pretty much the abdominal stretch, right?
Yep.
On the ground.
It's the exact same move.
But in wrestling, what did they call it in wrestling though?
The abdominal stretch.
There you go.
It's the exact same move, exact same hold, exact same body placements. The difference is in BJJ, you're not reversing them into a fucking hip lock or a hip toss. like you see all the time in wrestling. You get that abdominal stretch, and Jericho's getting hit in the stomach. Oh, but he reverses it with the hip toss. Okay, maybe if you're strong enough. When you're on the ground, no. Just go ahead and tap.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna do it standing up. They really got it.
Hell
You're
no.
gonna.
If it's really in, it's fucking over. But that's what kills me when I think about people like, oh man, you watch wrestling. Wrestling's fake. Okay, yes, the outcomes are predetermined. I'll give you that. But you can't tell me 74-year-old Ric Flair walking to your house right now and hitting you with that fucking Ric Flair chop across your chest, you're not going to drop to your knees in absolute agony and just fucking scream. You will.
Especially if he means it.
Exactly. You fucking will. If he puts you in the figure 4 for real, you will say anything he tells you to say.
Yep, they got an abdominal stretch in MMA. Korean Zombie.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Dude, the first time I ever saw that, I was like, oh, it's the abdominal stretch. It's like, no, it's Eddie Bravo's Twister. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Oh, okay. Like, real talk, when I watch a lot of, MMA, and then I think about a lot of the submission holds that I see, a lot of those I saw first in professional wrestling. Like, I didn't know how legit an armbar really was. I've seen wrestlers using that shit going as far back as the fucking 70s.
Yeah, they cross arm breaker. Yeah, that's what they.
The fucking can opener. The first time I ever saw that was in a fucking wrestling match. I was like, oh shit. The fucking guillotine. First time I ever saw that, I was like, oh, huh. These wrestling moves doing in MMA. It's amazing.
I think that the machine, the marketing machine, has trained us to be like to kind of forget about wrestling and look at it in a certain way.
I think not only the marketing machine, but the amount of time and effort and money that companies like WWE have put in to stray away from the wrestling background of it and focus more on the entertainment value. But people don't realize it goes hand in hand. And I say this all the time. Say what you will about some of your most polarizing figures in sports entertainment. You look at someone like Chael Sonnen, you look at someone like Conor McGregor. When they open their mouth and they start talking, all they're doing is wrestling promos.
Right.
And I had a buddy of mine argue with me. I'm like, no, that's no, that man. When Conor hit that iconic line, we didn't come here to take part. We came to take over. I can't remember what wrestler said that, but a wrestler actually said that before.
That was the NWO, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I just can't remember which member of that it was. But that had been said years before the arrival of Conor McGregor. When Chael Sonnen gave his epic rant when he was standing there in the ring with fucking Big John, and he was talking about how he was going to fight Anderson Silva next, and if the UFC won't give him Anderson Silva, he'll take whomever. But he hit that infamous line, don't send anyone that you want back. Gorgeous George had said that damn near 30 or 40 years prior. The idea of marketability, the idea of creating a character, that's all from pro wrestling. We've all watched or imitated the McGregor strut. We all know where he stole that from. Vince fucking McMahon. It's the exact same strut.
Every time he walks out to the ring.
Arms just flailing at the side. He walks the ring and does it's the same shit. And I'm not taking anything away from any of these guys or girls in MMA or kickboxing or boxing or whomever that bite off professional wrestling to sell yourself. In a way, you have to, because we as fans have been conditioned. You're going to gravitate to 3 different types of fighters. You're going to gravitate to the fucking Triple G's of the world who don't say a whole lot of shit, but they go out there and beat the living fuck out of you with technique and form and highlight real knockouts. Or, that's one. Number 2, you're going to gravitate to the person who's an absolute showman. The Prince Naseems of the world. The guy who's going to come out and cut the fucking front handspring over the ropes and do the Batista machine gun shit and fucking, hit the 2-step as he's outboxing the fuck out of you, Emmanuel Augustus style, hitting the fucking stanky leg while knocking you out. Or number 3, the talker that can back it the fuck up. Say what you will about the Conor McGregors of the world. Hell, say what you will about the Ronda Rouseys of the world before she got the shit knocked out of her. Say what you will about the Badr Haris of the world. These are individuals, hell, I'll throw Mike Tyson on there too, Muhammad Ali, etc. These are cats that when they open their mouth, they spit that fucking game, they bring you in, but they don't disappoint when it's time to fight. Even though all those examples, they all have their downfall at some point, whatever.
Yeah, Chael Sonnen said it best. Like, if you can't talk, you can't market yourself.
No.
Nobody's going to market for you. So And he said, you better take a page from Vince McMahon.
You have to.
You won't.
Say what you will about. I'll say it like this. I think Mighty Mouse is the most complete fighter on the fucking planet. I think Mighty Mouse should be a household name. Demetrius fucking Johnson. Everyone should know who he is. Literally the most complete fighter to ever step foot in the fucking cage. But he's not a household name. But he should be. So imagine if Demetrius Johnson fought the way that he did all the shit that he does inside of that cage or inside of the ring, but marketed himself like Conor McGregor. He would be the face of that fucking company. And they would have never traded his ass for Ben Askren.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That shit would have never happened. I think any fighter today, whether it's, I don't even care if it's amateur, if you're not taking a page out of pro wrestling in some kind of way, you're doing yourself a disservice. And all fighting arts do it. I don't give a shit. I'll argue this with anybody. You look at old school Muay Thai matches. Okay, a guy will come out. He's got his blue Muay Thai shorts with the white stripe down the side. Or his opponent will have the red Muay Thai shorts with the white stripe down the side. Or he'll just have some solid colored Muay Thai shorts. There you go. Over the years, that shit's changed. The shorts have become more flamboyant, more colorful, more eye-appealing, more eye-catching. The Y Crews and Y Muays have become far more entertaining. It's to captivate the crowd. Mongols have got goddamn snakes and shit on them and fucking whistles and bells and shit. All that shit taken heavily from pro wrestling and professional boxing. Hot take, but I honestly think pro boxing has also borrowed a lot from professional wrestling in terms of, the flamboyancies of the outfits and character developments and so forth.
Yeah, I can see that. But again, I mean, who was wearing? Yeah, because the robes, that was all professional wrestling.
All professional wrestling. Hell, what was that shit Deontay Wilder wore when he fought Tyson Fury? I can't remember what the fuck that giant thing was, but you know who did that shit long before him? Big Van Vader.
Vader. Yep, who's the man? Just underappreciated, man.
Highly underappreciated. For those of you who don't know, if you get a chance, look up Big Van Vader. I'm not even going to sit here and try to guess how much he weighed, but that motherfucker was huge, but was cutting backflips off fucking rings. The dude, to be as big as he was agile as shit, strong as a fucking house, and one of the first motherfuckers to ever rock the MMA gloves inside of a ring.
He sure did, didn't he?
Yep. Long before Chuck Norris started rocking them for Century Martial Arts. He started off with just fingerless gloves, but because he hit too hard, he started stuffing pads inside of them. So he was rocking basically the prototype MMA glove.
Wow. So that means Tank Abbott, you got to renege on your
Yep.
claim. I forgot.
When I was doing research for the show, I was like, fuck! I gotta go back and read on that shit. So yeah, I was wrong, folks. Prior to Tank Abbott, Big Van Vader was rocking the MMA gloves. Hopefully I don't have to recant this in the next episode, but for right now, we're going Big Van Vader.
Episode 21. Excuse me, folks. I was on again.
That's it right there. That was it. Like, that was we talking about 1989, 1991.
Yep, late 80s.
Man.
What year did Meals on Wheels come out?
Don't do it. Don't you do that, because those were fingerless gloves, damn it. I'm not going to let you do it, Lobo. Not going to let you do it. Jackie Chan had on just black leather fingerless gloves. Big Van Vader had on the black padded gloves. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to be wrong twice in the same show, damn it. On the same topic. Fuck that. Oh, man. So what are your thoughts on, let me ask you guys this. What are your thoughts on hardstyle? And when I say hardstyle, and I know I should probably limit that to, I'm just gonna limit it to Japanese style professional wrestling. What are your thoughts on how do you say them Japanese? Pasuro?
Per wrestle?
Mm-hmm.
Poor.
Oh,
man,
we fucking it up. Yeah.
Google
Google that shit, folks. You'll figure it out. Japanese hardstyle wrestling. And when I say this, and I know there's gonna be a lot of purists out there that are like, well, they're doing that in CZW and ECW. No, let me clear the air. Without Japanese hardstyle, you would not have had your ECWs. You sure shit wouldn't have your CZW, your Combat Zone Wrestling shit. Japanese hardstyle wrestling, in my opinion, broke the fucking mold for combining combat sports, martial arts, street fights, and professional wrestling all in one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's true.
Then if you want to talk about fighters, I mean, Sakuraba beat like how many Gracies?
Fucking all of them.
And he came from that hard style Japanese background.
Yep. People forget when they think of Sakuraba, they're like, "Oh man, the Pride Fighter, the Pride Fighter." That motherfucker was not a fighter. He was a
Kingdom
professional
Wrestling.
wrestler. Ooh, say it again,
Kingdom Wrestling.
folks. If you're listening and you want to see Japanese style hard wrestling, where it's hard to determine what is a work, what is real, what is the hook, and what is the shoot, Kingdom Wrestling. That's all I'm gonna say. That shit was brutal. Some of the hardest shit you'll ever see.
One thing, not to be confused with Wrestle Kingdom. This is Kingdom Wrestling. This is Yoji Anjo when he started this in mid to late 90s. One of them. This is pure submission, strong style, hard style wrestling.
Adding that to the watch list.
Oh, dude, that shit is brutal. You will see shit on there that you will wonder, how did this ever get passed or approved? You're talking about dudes getting powerbombed on fucking concrete floors.
Oh, Jesus.
Before the powerbomb was an everyday move. Super kicks where they're not slapping their thighs, where the sound that you hear is genuinely that boot going across your fucking face. Dudes getting put in fucking Kimuras and this shit. They're tickling their own fucking earlobe because they're bending their ear back so far, or their arm back so far. Kingdom Wrestling was fucking brutal.
I mean, when we talk about, again, catch wrestling, professional wrestling, of course you got to bring up Josh Barnett, Sakuraba.
Of course.
I mean, they were, after, even though, you talk about, everybody was like, oh, Ken Shamrock, most dangerous man in the world in whatever year in WWE. But, I mean, before that in Japan, I mean, they were doing their thing. Like, nobody knew who Sakuraba was until after UFC Japan 1997.
Mm-hmm.
When he armbarred unstoppable BJJ black belt Conan Severa, who was the head of American Top Team.
You know, what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to Kingdom Pro Wrestling is many people consider it not only a continuation of UWF, and for those of you who don't know what UWF International is, that's a Union of Wrestling Forces. If you get a chance, look that shit up. It was pretty much a hard-hitting, realistic style of shoot-style professional wrestling. Because of UWF, organizations like Pride existed. Without Kingdom Wrestling or Kingdom Pro Wrestling, UWF International, you would not have your Prides. Most people consider Kingdom and UWF as predecessors to Pride Fighting Championships. Because Pride Fighting Championships didn't even come out until the demise of Kingdom Wrestling, which I want to say was, 1998-ish?
8-ish, yeah.
Give or take. And like I said, this shit was, honestly, is about as real as it fucking gets. It's professional wrestling with full contact movesets. So all your punches, they're not being pulled. All your kicks, they're not being pulled. These guys and girls are getting hit for fucking real. And it was basically just like a hybrid fighting system for martial arts. So it goes back to our original thing we were talking about at the beginning of our conversation. You know, a lot of these professional wrestlers, especially these old school cats, legit badasses. Guys and girls that can genuinely fucking hurt you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I feel the same way about Sakuraba. I feel like Sakuraba and all the old school hard style wrestlers of Japan can never be replicated. Ever. These cats are, to me, in my opinion, truly legit. And it makes me think of other styles of pro wrestling that I find absolutely legit. Like, I know I talk shit on flippity doos and spinneroonies and shit like that all the time, but not to get it confused with the fighting counterpart of Lucha Libre, I'm a big fan of Lucha Libre. I want to say, what was that, the Mexican style of masked wrestling?
Man, remember they had a good run in like the 90s.
Oh man, dude, they were on. For you wrestling fans out there, you've at least heard of AAA. It's literally the WWE of fucking Mexico.
Right.
Eddie Guerrero's, your Rey Mysterios, that whole family.
Conan, Psychosis.
Man. Juventud.
Yeah, Juventud. Oh man, I forgot about Juventud.
Everyone always forgets about Juventud.
Man, he was the man. Juventud was like the coolest guy in the world, man. I'm telling you.
You know he's not even part of that family?
No,
I
I
didn't
think
know that.
so.
I guess that just shows how ignorant and small-minded I was. 'Cause I was like, oh, Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero. That makes
Nah, I
sense.
think his was with like a A
Yeah,
though.
his was spelled a little differently. I was like, oh, whoops. Fucking super crazy. Oh, I got a name for you. Too Cold Scorpio.
Man, I forgot about it. Yeah, man. Man, listen. The first time you saw a 450 splash on WCW when he was with Ron Simmons, man, that's a memory right there.
That
Like,
blew the fucking roof off the place. I'm almost positive no one in America had seen that shit before until then.
man, that was it. I was just like, I grabbed my little cousin, like, did you see what he just did?
He defied the laws of gravity. Did you see that shit? That shit was crazy, man. Like, just the shit that they were doing back then was astounding. And again, I'm not shitting on wrestling today. Hey, it's entertaining for what it is, yada yada yada. But the shit they were doing back then was fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. WCW understood how to use their cruiserweights better than almost any other wrestling promotion until the NWA came in and just beat them, or NWO came in and just beat them up. But you know,
Yeah, they were just too small.
yeah.
That's just what it was. They didn't have the build. It wasn't. It was that American thing. Also, so yeah.
I watched some wrestling the other day that really made me sad.
Go on.
The Urban Wrestling Federation. Holy
Urban Wrestling Federation.
shit! It's been a long time since I had looked into a wrestling organization that was literally here today, gone today, and they were it. They were literally founded in 2011 and closed in 2011. And I shit you not, try to bring Def Jam Fight for New York off the video game into a wrestling organization.
What?
Oh yeah, I shit you not.
Yeah. 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 That didn't go well.
Oh, it did not. It was an absolute clusterfuck and a fucking failure through and through. They tried to be edgy. They tried to be everything that they clearly weren't.
So I'm guessing because I haven't looked it up yet. I'm not gonna look, but I'm sure there were women in short shorts dancing hip hop music. Yeah.
Hip hop music, all from independent artists. Women in short shorts, yes. Drive-by shootings, gangbangers.
Wait, what?
Oh, I've got to pull this up, man. Hang on, let me.
You have to.
I
'cause
shit
this
you not.
Drive-by shootings, gangbangers,
Like when I saw this, I was like, I need to know if they know about this. And since we're talking pro wrestling,
was the match lineup. He's a former crack dealer, been in and out of prison. Was that like a promo?
actually, you're pretty spot on. There was one, I shit you not. This dude just got through wrestling this really shitty match. This group of dudes come out, the crowd is cheering, and he's like, "Hey, you know why we're here, right? This isn't a celebration." The guy's like, "Oh, no? Nah. I'm here to ask you, you got my money. Do you got my money?"
No.
And the dude was like, "What? I shit you not." And it goes into this 10-minute long diatribe of you borrowed money from me and I want it back, yada 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 yada. And I was like, what is this?
Wait, did I just see the Usos?
Yeah, man.
No, man, no. I know. No. No. I got no.
There's
I would
there's a
not.
couple.
No, I
Somebody
would.
post something in the
I
chat.
There's a couple of cats that you're gonna recognize.
No, man.
I got you,
refuse.
Lobo. I'm pulling up something right now. Oh, my bad. That was the gunshots of the promo. Hang on. I shit you not.
This is fucking amazing.
There you go.
Bringing
Look, read that. It says, "Shots fired. Bringing a gun to a wrestling match."
because wrestling needs a crime wave.
Man, you know what? I'm just gonna save this one. I'm gonna save this one.
Oh, you have to.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I'm gonna watch it, and I'm just gonna tell somebody new one after watching. I'm just gonna tell whoever it is, whoever created, just be prepared. Just be prepared. That's all.
The sad part is they have the audacity to make championship belts, and when you look at the championship belt, when you look at it closely, it's like, oh, okay, UWF, and like a weird little font, written in red. And then I realized, oh, that's supposed to be the blood splatter of after getting shot.
Oh my god, it is.
Right?
I'm looking at it right now.
It's the fucking blood splatter from getting shot.
You couldn't have put like graffiti or something.
Right? Dude, why couldn't they just, like, old school NWO this shit? Just, get a shitty belt, add, like, some fake spray paint or whatever to it. Make it look like some hole-in-the-wall bootleg shit. Instead, no, let's advocate gun violence.
We're going to make the most violent-looking wrestling organization in the world.
If anybody has Tubi TV, Tubi TV, if you look under their sporting section, they have the entire seasons, I think 1 and 2, of Urban Wrestling Federation that you can view in its entirety. Completely uncut, with some of the greatest dialogue you'll ever hear.
I'm so disappointed.
Oh, you haven't achieved true disappointment yet until you get to the tag title shit.
I'm just at a loss for words for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like how the on the very first clip it literally shows a fucking drive-by. And it's justified.
That is the part
I got so bored I went down this rabbit hole, and I just needed to see, like, is their website still going? Is their Facebook still going? Is their Instagram still going? All that shit defunct.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, this is, man. I'm sorry. I just had to.
What the fuck?
I was going to ask you guys if we can just go on ahead and talk a little more about this Urban Wrestling Federation and what is so disappointing about it.
Yeah, we can
I'm
do
fine
that.
with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, again, I haven't taken the time to watch all of this. I had a hard time getting past the first episode of this shit.
We're gonna talk about those things today.
I mean, we talking about first. I mean, oh man.
Dude, every time they
Pay-per-view
pause
call.
and spin the video, why are they doing this?
Brian and Vinny
Watch the
Thug
dude get stomped
Assassin.
out.
Yep. Brian and Vinny, Thug Assassins.
Pay-per-view Hood Justice. Man.
There is so much wrong with the things. I don't even want to call it UWF because I don't want people to mistake this with the real UWF. So I'm literally calling it Urban Wrestling. This is hands down the worst shit I've ever seen.
Okay, so I just saw some guy get picked up and slammed. It was about 30 seconds long, multiple cuts between this dude just holding a guy in the air and a bunch of random women. And then the video started spinning upside down. And before the guy hits the ground, it cut to something else.
You want to hear what's even more frustrating? They had the
I feel like
nerve and the audacity to shoot this shit in the old Hammerstein Ballroom. And for those of you who are, and if you know anything about wrestling, you know what wrestling organization was famous for always filming there was fucking ECW.
So they're gonna desecrate, holy ground like that? Wow.
Dude, listen to some of these names.
To the holy ground.
Big Block, Ruckus, Grim Reaper, Uncle Murda, EC Negro, KC Blade.
Big giant black guy, damn halter top, baggy jeans,
Yeah, man.
and a bandana hanging out the back.
Dude, I'm on that first
Them
video,
stomping on people don't even
and
look
there's
real.
7 cuts of this girl in blue tight pants walking back and forth, and it's 7 different angles of her ass.
I just gotta know who thought this was a good idea.
Niggas. I mean, I'm just being honest. What makes this so depressing to me, and again, I'm just being completely honest when I say this. This clearly took some money to do in some kind of way. Because you had to have money to rent this ball, you had to have money for the cameras, you had to have money for the talent, you had to have money for the promos, the music, the videos, all that type of shit. This, unfortunately, how do I word this in a way that won't come across too? We, and by we, I mean we as black people, could have done so much better than it's.
Man, this came on the UPN network? Oh my goodness.
Right? Yes!
How did I miss this?
Because it didn't come on until like fucking 2 a.m.
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
Like this is
I mean,
back in my height when I was watching pro wrestling on TV.
I mean, you know, everyone knows about the UPN network, you know, the network of underpaid Negroes. Yeah, that's what UPN was.
Man, I don't even.
You can't even put it into words.
I can't. I don't know what to say. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know.
Okay, I saw one decent move in this whole thing.
I just want you to know that this is amazing.
Man, this
This
I
is
just don't know.
depressing. This is absolutely depressing. It's depressing and it's fucking deplorable. It's already hard enough for us as minorities to be taken seriously in athletic sports and combat sports and sports entertainment as it is. And then when we finally have a chance to finally, you know, kind of put our own stamp on it and get ourselves out there, this is what the masses see. You know, I have to put this up there as just as bad, if not worse, than Iron Circle.
Yeah, this is
This makes Iron Circle at least look like fucking Bellator level.
I mean, at least the concept of Iron Circle made sense.
It did.
It was terrible the way it was put together. But this some bullshit, man.
I've seen 12 different pimps in this one video.
There's a lot of pimps in this first video. The pimp look is very popular in this video.
That's an understatement.
But the sad part is some of the wrestling actually isn't bad.
It's not, but it's just the concept. That's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
Commissioner now. The commissioner is black.
Yeah.
As a black woman.
Yep.
Big buff black guy behind him. I'm guessing is probably the bodyguard.
Of course.
And then I'm guessing that the white guy beside him is probably like the lawyer or the brains or something. It's just like it's just so stereotypical and it's just stupid, man. Why would you put this out here?
Because someone thought this was a good idea.
It's almost embarrassing.
It
is embarrassing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean almost?
It is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
So in an unprecedented move, folks, ain't gonna be no back in the day, ain't gonna be no technique of the day, ain't gonna be no infomercial commercial breaks. We just talking this shit straight through because this shit right here is depressing. This makes me sad to be a wrestling fan.
Street Legion Black Legion versus Street Soldier.
It's actually got some pretty decent wrestling.
Yeah, of course, you got, and I'm not saying anything about it, these big black athletic guys in here, but it's just the concept, man.
The concept
it's
is
gonna get
horrible.
overlooked. It's gonna get overlooked.
It's in the name. And hear me out. When you first saw this title and you saw the name of the organization, what is the first thing that came to you guys' mind?
Hood
Just
shit.
some bullshit.
Hood shit. Exactly. It should have been called Hood something, whatever, instead of just saying urban. If you're gonna go, I learned in the wrestling world, if you're gonna go that far, go all the way in.
But
Ladies and gentlemen,
okay.
What you have just heard is the opinions now brought to you by one Deku. Deku, welcome to the show.
My question. The serious question.
Right.
You know, well, let me ask the question first. You consider yourself black, African American, whatever you want to call it, whatever we call
Right.
ourselves. Okay.
Right.
Who in the fuck uses the word urban?
Mostly white people. When they're trying to describe
I was waiting for it.
I mean, I can answer that question for you real easy. They'll be the same individuals that are screaming, "Make America Great Again." But, you know.
Yeah. Those Proud Boys. You know.
So when I see urban, I see some BS.
I just want to go on record and say
'Cause
that
we
I've never
don't-
described something as urban.
Right, because I mean, that's not us, man. So when I see urban, I'm like, okay, this is somebody, and if it was created by somebody black, cool. But you are marketing towards. You're not marketing. This is not universal marketing. It's not.
No.
It's some BS.
As I stated earlier on, this is going to be part one of of our wrestling talk, and we're going to get more of your thoughts when we come back for episode 2. But I thank you for letting us know what we should have known in the title. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Part 2 of our wrestling chat will continue at. Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for all the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at H8L.Muay Thai. On Twitter, follow us at H8L_Fight Talk.